Hey, it's Aaron, and today I'm with the 2023 GMC Sierra 1500. This is in the AT4 package. So this generation of the Sierra came out in about 2019 and has added a few things over those couple of years since then. This year, the AT4 off-road package includes the full safety sense system, which is the anti-collision and all that other stuff. It even has rear cross traffic alerts and so on. So that's the biggest upgrade this year. Otherwise, this is still still the same capable truck, still the same off-road all-arounder that it was before. So this isn't going to tackle the really harsh terrain, you know, the big rocks or the deep sand or any of that stuff. It's not what it's made for. This is not a purpose-built. This is a all-arounder. It's a general off-road truck, and it does pretty good. It's got good ground clearance. It's got a good setup for that, and as we walk around, I'll show you some of those things, including these cool rock rails and other stuff for protection. And under the hood on this particular one is a 6.2 liter V8. There's also a diesel. I believe this is the last year for that diesel. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure this is the last year for that diesel. And there's a smaller 8-cylinder engine, and I don't think the AT4 can be in any other. There is a V6 and some other stuff for the Sierra, but I don't think you can get that with the AT4. So, of course, it has 4-wheel drive, and of course, we are out in the country here in Wyoming. So let's have a look at this thing. So, before we talk about design, I want to talk a little bit about what I do and don't like about this truck. To start with, I really like the engine response and the 10-speed automatic transmission. They work very, very well together in all of the engines. I've driven, since it came out this generation, 2019, I've driven this probably 3 or 4 times now, and in different engine options, and I really love the engine and transmission mating. GMC does a really good job of tuning the transmission to fit the engine that's powering it. So as you go through each of those engines, the transmission will be a 10-speed automatic and the same 10-speed automatic, but it will be programmed to fit with that engine. That makes the diesel option a beautiful choice for this truck. Drives like a gas engine. You don't lose power or have to wait for the turbo to kick in or any of that. It just drives smooth and nice. With this big 6.2, it's a very unassuming engine. You don't realize how much power is there until you really push the pedal down. Until then, it just smoothly does what you're asking it to do, and that's it. So wonderful, wonderful setup. I really like that. I really like the interiors. I love the infotainment. I love the way it feels on the inside. It's nice and big and roomy, and the infotainment is really well done. And then I really like the look. They got away from the square on square thing that was the previous in the generation before that, and they've gone to a much more kind of upscale appeal for the GMC designs. So I really like that. With the AT4 package, I especially like the wheels, some of these custom color packages like this. This is a beautiful color. It's a nice kind of concrete slate. Really like this color, especially with the black trim pieces. Really looks good. Yeah, and they just have nice understated badging. They don't get giant with the badges. They don't throw it in your face what this is. Very, very nicely done. Now you can, with the AT4 package, you can get the ETV, I think is the name of it. That adds larger, more custom bumpers with a winch on there, and I think the approach and departure angles improve slightly because of that. Otherwise, this is the AT4 package right here. Now, things I don't like. Highway ride, little bumpy, a little loud, especially with these big knobby tires that are on here, which you can't get away from. It's going to happen. But this truck, even with different tires, so if you're in one of the other Sierra 1500s, they're just not as quiet and they're not as smooth on the highway as the Ram and the Ford options. So that's one little downer there. Also, another downer I don't like is the safety systems. If you just take them as they are from the factory, they're probably going to overreact. You have to go in and you have to kind of play with and tune a little bit so that some of those systems aren't going off all the time. One of those is adaptive cruise. The adaptive cruise system wants to slow down way before it really needs to, and that's kind of an annoyance. So you just get used to having your following distance closer than you would if you were in a different vehicle. So you just have to learn those little things, but otherwise, really great truck. Let's talk about design a little bit. We'll start from the front because that's where we're at. This is the grille for the AT4X model right here. So you can see the GMC logo and you can see the slotted grille. This slotted grille is found throughout the GMC lineup. So all of the Sierras have this kind of grille. The change will be in what the package says. So some of them are chrome, some of them are whiter, some are thinner, different levels of grille. So for the AT4X package, here's the black grille. You can see where it has the stop points and then it has the longer ones. Kind of a cool design. I really like that. I also like the way the hood looks here, giving this sort of a scoop appearance. It's not an actual scoop. It is enclosed, but it gives it the look of a scoop up here. And then you can see the bright red toe pins to go with the AT4 package, and you can see this lower matches this upper. So pretty cool look. I really like that. Let's go around the side and talk about the look there. From the side here, you can see the wheels I was talking about. So you can see these really, really nice wheels. I really love these. These in particular, I think are 17 inch if I remember right. And I can't find the tire size over there on the wall. 18s. These are 18 inch. And that will give you the option to use just about any aftermarket tire you want. So if you're not happy with the Wranglers, or if you end up having to replace them for some reason, there are tons of options for the 17 and 18 inch wheel as far as off-road tires go. So lots of options there, and I really like the look of these. It's just kind of a cool black steel look versus you know, lots of aluminum or bright something or other that really wouldn't fit, especially with this kind of paint, which is kind of an understated, and the rock rails and black details going around. So you can see the AT4X's in big letters here, and the rock rails I was talking about. These are really awesome. As a step, totally useless. If you have somebody short that needs a step to get in the truck, this is not going to help them any, so don't bother. But you can use it as a what it's intended for, which is as underbody protection, side protection when you're bumping around in the wilderness, like when we're up here. If you happen to hit something, it's not going to hurt that big giant metal bar. Body styling itself is pretty simple. There's still the square, right? You still have those square, but it's not as pronounced as it used to be. So much nicer look on this generation of the Sierra. So you can see that it runs along. There's a square here, but it's rounded off a little, and it's, again, understated. There's a lot of, I'm going to use the word understated a lot. And then the badging here, and then running across, you can see the back of the cab is pretty straight up and down, pretty square because of this little spoiler thing. The cab itself actually rolls into this. Kind of a neat look. And then the line that comes here keeps going across there despite the bed gap here, and ends back here with the taillight coming down, again finishing a square without making big giant squares. So it just looks really good. Integrated bed steps are awesome. Again, the wheels, really like the wheels, but you have lots of clearance right here. You can see that. That is part of the AT4 package. It does lift the truck a little bit, and then the bigger tires and a few other things are all coming together to make for a much larger well gap here, which of course says, hey, I'm an off-road truck, right? That's the point of having that visually. So all through here, this is just a really nice, pretty simple look. Let's look at the working end for a minute, and then we'll wrap all this up. So hopefully you can see this okay. The sun's not right in the lens there. It looks okay, I think. Anyway, this is the back of the truck, the working end. You can see how tall it is compared to me. I am 6'3", and this thing is, it's tall. The AT4 package adds roughly 2 inches, I believe it is, of lift, and that really shows when you're back here. So tow hitch down there, plugs right here, and this gives you access to the spare, which is slung underneath. This has the multi-pro tailgate. When I first saw this, I thought it was the dumbest gimmick ever, but now that I've used it over the last couple of years since it came out, I really like this. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. So when I open the top here, what you're looking at now is not only kind of a working desktop, but now I have a pass-through. Let's say I go to the the box store, the home improvement store, and I buy a whole ton of 2x4s. I'm going to build a shed. If I stack those in here coming out through this, I now don't have a lateral problem of they're not going to slide back and forth as much. They're not going to fall out of the bed or anything like that. And my tie down is much simpler. I just have to go over the top and I'm done. So really cool kind of little feature right there. If I really want to, I can pop this up. Now if I was to run a measuring stick and I went from the back of this all the way to the back of this, 6 feet. Little slightly over. So there you go. I mean, actually I think it was 7 feet. I'm wrong. It was 7 feet. So that's pretty cool. If you've got something that's exactly 7 feet long and you need to fit it in here, not totally likely, but it could be a thing, you never know. Also, I'm going to show you something else special under there that you can get when you get one of these. Then you have this. So standard bed opening, you see it was soft open. So now we have this, right? Our full bed. Now I pop this up. So if you happen to be in a motocross, you already see why this is awesome. Okay? If you don't, Google it. Also, if you measure from here up to the inside part of here, take that measurement. It is, make a guess, exactly, it is 8 feet. It's actually 8 foot and half an inch. And that means that you have a full sheet of whatever, you have something back in it, and now you can tie it down, not worry about it flying out the back. That's beauty. Now let me show you one more thing. Pop this open. Whoops, wrong button. Pop that down. Now, what do you see right here? You see an easier way to step in to grab stuff. Holy crap. Also, pop that down. Now I got a way to get in the bed, right? There you go. There's even a handle right here. You can pull this handle out like this. Grab onto that sucker, climb in, or climb in, right? Now, that is also a stereo. Holy crap. So this is an optional accessory you have to add on, but it is very, very cool. You have speakers here. You have controls right here. You have a USB input right here that you can use with earphone plug or USB-A. And then also you can just Bluetooth. So if you're just Bluetoothing to this thing, you don't have to plug anything in. That is freaking awesome. That is such cool stuff. So that's only a handful of the ways you can use this. It's a pretty useful thing. So again, I used to knock it. I used to think it was dumb. But now that I've used it a few times, I really like this system. Now, is there one that's out there that I like better? Yes, there is. I like the RAM system that opens in the middle. I like it better for 2 reasons. One, you don't have to worry about a trailer hitch. If I had a ball hitch sticking up on here, I wouldn't be able to do all of this with this. So this wouldn't fold down and be able to go down without removing that. Which means if you have a trailer attached, you can't do a lot of those functions. But with the RAM you can, because it will open and work. The RAM system doesn't have a couple of the things like holding an 8-foot sheet and things like that. But you know, those are some of the trade-offs. You have to decide. If I were driving this on the regular, I would be towing more often than not. I have a small utility trailer, and I would be using that to go get stuff, not just throw it in the bed all the time, just because a little bit easier to load and unload, a little more versatile. But anyway, I really like this, and this is a really cool setup. You can also get it if you happen to buy a Chevy truck. Chevy has a different name for it, but it's exactly the same setup. So, all right, let's wrap this up. All right, so there you go. That was me with the 2023 GMC Sierra in the AT4 package. Beautiful truck, really, really nicely done. If fuel economy is something you're worried about, this isn't the truck for you. Maybe look at the diesel engine version of this package. If towing and hauling are all that you plan to do with this truck, you probably don't need all this off-road stuff, so I would go with a more baseline Sierra model. But overall, very, very well done. This will tow and this will haul. It's just a little tall to be loading and unloading it all the time. Your trailer is going to slightly stick like this unless you have a down tongue. So, you know, little things like that make the AT4 not as good as a utility truck, but still good, but make it an excellent all-around off-roader. So really good, just bouncing around off the road, doing the things that you normally do off the road, not the extreme YouTube crap, you know, that busts axles and ruins things. You know, that's not what this is for. If you really want that, go get the GMC Hummer. You can do like that one dude. You can drive it 5 minutes off the lot and total it. All right, that's what I got. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.